Okay. A conversation no one asks for. A conversation about labias. Now, I almost dropped water. Now, I feel like generally the narrative of, well, not the narrative, but like it was pressed of us in school that everyone is different, you know? Everyone is different. And that's okay, you know? Everyone comes in different sizes. But when it came to sex ed, it was very not specific to what will be like what we need to learn in the future. It's more like about periods and maturity and boobies, which is kind of obvious. Like, it's kind of the obvious, you know, stuff that your mother can like easily teach you. But I think we should have been taught more about our vaginas, generally, because like up until like a couple months ago, I didn't know everyone's like labia didn't look the same. Like, I genuinely thought everyone's labia was supposed to look like the exact same. I thought it was built the same. And I know everyone is taught like we are all different, like, you know, big, small, little, tall, you know, but I just feel like genuinely like we should have been taught like everyone's labia is going to look different. Some are bigger, some are taller, some are wider, some are smaller, some are shaped different, you know? Some go like this, some go like this, you know? And it didn't really get to talking. I didn't really get to thinking about it until the fat coochie trend on TikTok about talking about fat cooters, which Emma Lou kind of pioneered that. We don't talk about her now, but Emma Lou kind of pioneered the I got a fat coochie holding the camera up here. You know that vibe, which nothing wrong with that, but I genuinely just thought it was like a joke. Like, I didn't know there was an actual like bigger, smaller until I started to realize and get my head out from out under a rock and think, oh wait, there actually are bigger and smaller, and that's okay. It is okay to have different sizes. But I genuinely feel like in sex ed we should have just gotten more sex ed. I'm eating a dole acai bowl. Yeah, we should have just got more sex ed, and genuinely like in school. Also, I think the conversation of consent should have been happening way earlier than now, and I feel like the consent trend, which shouldn't be a trend, but it's kind of a trend. Like, learning about consent is a new topic now, in my times, but it should have been talked about way younger, because I feel like when you're younger, it was just like, keep your hands to yourself, but we didn't know the importance of keeping our actual hands and our bodies to ourselves and leaving another person alone. And especially in sexual terms, consent is very important it's just to make the other person feel comfortable and the best outcome possible. Without consent, very, very bad things happen, you know, sexual assaults. And I'm not saying like maybe it was school's fault, they weren't educated from sexual assaults, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that should have just been a fundamental, like a big fundamental of consent, a whole like lesson. Like, I didn't get a lesson in school. I'm in 11th grade now. No lessons about consent. I had to learn about that on the internet. Also, stuff that I had to learn about on the internet. Black history. When I was younger, Black history was slavery, maybe you learn about Madam C.J. Walker's hair straightener. You did a project on a black person. I did Dorothy Dandruff. And Civil War, yeah, it was very not as very, how you say, detailed, because there's so much more to learn about, and the treatment of slaves was absolutely awful. We did learn about like the ships and stuff, don't get me wrong, and how that was awful too, but there's just so many little details that are just like gory, like the eating of slaves, the term of where picnic came from, the MF word, the mother, that's what, like, that came from slavery. Like, I genuinely just didn't know that, and I'm learning more every single day about like what happened in Black history. Tulsa, oh my god, Tulsa. I never knew the history of Tulsa. The only thing I knew about Tulsa was Twist and Shout Diamonds, a popular cheer gym. And they'd just be like, Tulsa, take pictures, location Tulsa, and I'd be like, oh my god, like, cool place in Oklahoma. No, the history behind Black Wall Street and what actually happened and the Great Black Massacre, we didn't, like, I just generally did not know that until the Black Lives Matter movement and all like the informational posts on Instagram. And it's so weird where I have to learn about Black history through Instagram and not my books that are very whitewashed. Also, the treatment of Native Americans is very, very, it makes the white people look better than they are, especially when you're really young, learning about Thanksgiving and how it was a joint together. No, it wasn't like that. Slaves were killing off innocent people off their own land, and the treatment of indigenous people today is awful. Like they genuinely believe like alcoholism is a part of like their DNA. That's how bad it is. Like the depression rates are. It's just terrible. And like I feel like white America like overlooks that part when it's prominent, and the treatment was really bad. And I think the reason why so many people like joke about slavery and joke about like indigenous people and stuff like that is because of history books not getting to the bloody core, getting to the gross details, to the horrifying details of what slavery and the moving to like people, the Europeans coming to America, how bad that actually was for us, you know. I mean, I have 2 African parents, so I don't think I have any slave descendants. I'm South African, so I don't think I have any descendants of slavery, but I still am a Black person in America who does get called the N-word and does get racially profiled, you know. So I genuinely think like it does apply to me 100%, but I just feel like we weren't taught the extent that we needed to be taught, and that's why Black people are still getting killed on the streets like animals, or getting killed in their own homes by police, because we don't have that education. And I think I'm just getting conspiracy theory-ish. I think the government is just like not giving, like, you know, that the government is just not giving us that information, or just the school system. I'm just rambling, and all my thoughts are like, I just wish I had like something to like, you know, make it more formatted. But I think the higher ups don't want us to know the extent of it and why it's still happening in America in 2020. So that's just a little rant like about what school didn't teach me. And yeah,